Welcome to Not So New News, where we discover what is hidden in newspapers from 100 years ago. Today's article comes from the town of Whitesburg and appeared in Letcher County's oldest newspaper, the Mountain Eagle. Volume 2, number 19, dated January 7th, 1909. This reading is from the writings done in 1909. These views are from that time period and do not necessarily reflect the modern views of Kentucky Tennessee living nor its narrator. However, we feel that all historical documents must be preserved for the future and strive not to change one word of the readings. However, if we feel that the readings are too controversial in both political or religious standing, we will either silently put up the article for viewing or will direct everyone where it can be found online. Thank you for your understanding. All advertisements are read from the Mountain Eagle in the year it was printed. Kentucky Tennessee Living does not endorse any product that is listed in the pages. However, for historical purposes, they are read and kept intact. The Mountain Eagle, N. M. Webb, editor and owner. Published every Thursday. Entered as second-class matter August 28, 1907, at the post office at Whitesburg, Kentucky, under the Act of Congress August 9, 1873. Subscription rates: 1 year, $1; 6 months, 50 cents; 3 months, 25 cents. All subscriptions must be paid in advance. The Eagle covers Letcher County like the blue canopy. Thursday, January 7th, 1909. Local notices will be charged for the rate of 5 cents per line for the first insertion and 3 cents a line for each succeeding insertion. Announcements. For Circuit Clerk, E. L. Baker is a candidate for Clerk of the Letcher County Court, subject to the action of the people at the polls. For County Clerk, the Eagle is authorized and paid to announce R. B. Bentley, a candidate for County Court Clerk of Letcher County, subject to the action of the voters at the November election, 1909. For Assessor, Arnett Mitchell is a candidate for Assessor of Letcher County, to be voted for in November 1909, and solicits your support. The Eagle is authorized to announce Shade R. Red Combs, a candidate for Assessor of Letcher County, subject to the action of the people at the polls in November 1909. For Jailer, the Eagle hereby announces Hiram Williams, a candidate for Jailer of Letcher County, election 1909. For Sheriff, we are authorized to announce Lewis Cook, a candidate for Sheriff of Letcher County, subject to the action of the Republican Party. We are authorized to announce John Ison, Little John of Kingdom Come Creek, a candidate for Sheriff of Letcher County, November election, 1909. We are authorized to announce Riley Ison, Red Gid's son, a candidate for Sheriff of Letcher County, subject to the voters at the November election, 1909. Editorial. We have tried to say something to everybody in a general way, except the husbands, and now a little lecture to them could not be amiss. We are acquainted with these dear, aggravating, indispensable creatures. There is scarcely any chance to live with or without them. There may be plenty of good men, but honestly, there are but few good husbands. Those that are worth the salt that goes in their soup. If your wife has been bending over a hot stove or sewing machine all day, she needs to be taken out horseback riding occasionally. Don't you go and say that we are a fit subject for a lunatic asylum, if we tell you that even take that horse out of the crap to do so. There is no more sense in intemperate work than intemperate rest or intemperate anything else. Some of these days you may have to stop longer than an hour to go for a doctor, or work longer to pay the bill. You will be sorry someday when those tired hands hold their stiffened grasp, white flowers under a pall, that you did not look more than after her health and comfort. If she thinks it is too much trouble, use your God-given prerogative and make her. You will find it the cheapest way to keep a cook that will not die on your hands right in the busiest time of the year. And for luck's sake, don't go out and fool around the place, just whistling around, till she gets things cleaned up, and then strut in and change your clothes and leave them and your old muddy shoes scattered around everywhere. If you do, don't blame anyone if you have the crossest wife in the world. Quote, honesty is the best policy, unquote. Quote, a paid up is the best subscriber, unquote. J.A. Blair's case. We clipped the following from the Apache, Oklahoma, Week's Review of date January 1st. Quote, the preliminary hearing of J.A. Blair, charged with the murder of Joe Kearns, was held at Anadarko Tuesday. After the state had presented its case, Blair's attorney conferred and decided to rest without submitting any evidence. Consequently, he was bound over to await the action of the grand jury, unquote. It will be seen from the above that Blair acted very sensibly in not presenting his side of the case, since by allowing the prosecution to introduce their testimony, he can prepare his side to meet theirs. Or, in case he should hereafter demand bail, force the prosecution to bring out any other testimony they may have. Reynolds paroled. Governor Wilson a few days ago extended executive clemency to Noah M. Reynolds by having him paroled. It will be remembered that Noah and his brother John were sent to the pen from Bell County for the killing of William S. Wright near his home on Boone Creek in this county in 1900. Both the Reynolds boys are now home among their friends. A request. All persons indebted to Ira Fields and Company for goods purchased of me will please call and settle their accounts. I am no longer connected with the firm, but am responsible for the debts I have created. I am as poor as any of you, and each of you can pay your respective accounts and not hurt you, while it would take every dollar that I am worth to pay them for you. Believing that my debtors are my friends, I insist that you come to my aid by settling your accounts at once. I am your friend, John M. Fields. Tortured on a horse. Quote, for 10 years I couldn't ride a horse without being in torture from piles, unquote, writes L.S. Napier of Ruggles, Kentucky. Quote, when all the doctors and other remedies failed, Buckner's Arcania Save cured me, unquote. Infallible for piles, burns, scalds, cuts, boils, fever sores, eczema, salt rheumatism, and corns. 25 cents, guaranteed by Whitesburg Drugstore. This concludes today's reading of the December 31st, 1908 Mountain Eagle. We at Kentucky Tennessee Living would like to thank you for your continued support as we bring to you the history of the Appalachian Mountains.